Good morning, everybody. Or afternoon if you are somewhere else, or evening, whatever it is over where you're at. Hello. We're back. After a couple week hiatus, we're back. We are going to be going over 4 videos for Vita Carnis, because they are the shorter end of the stick, and then the one after that is like 30 minutes long. I'm just going to do a stream just for that one. In 2 weeks. So, we'll do those today. Next weekend, we are going to have Nox and another special guest on to talk about certain things. Something a little bit different. Something a little, nerdy. And then we'll come back to Vita Carnis in 2 weeks to cover the rest of that. But, I don't even want to keep you guys waiting. I'm so excited to get into this. Why don't we get the first video? It is Vita Carnis Living Meat Research Documentary number 4, Mimics, and this mimic is called Trichodatum Carnis, which translates to the slaughter of flesh. Ooh, gonna be fun. Alright, let's get right into it. Viewer discretion is advised. Obviously. Gore, violence, death, flashing lights. So if you have epilepsy warning. Epilepsy warning. Epilepsy warning. Okay.
The mimic. The mimic is a biped.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's some skinwalky, nasty creepiness, paralysis demon. I don't. They just get worse, don't they? They just get worse and worse and worse. Yucky. Those fingers, too. They're like... Oh, just imagine that coming around like a doorway to get you. Whew. Blech. Kill me now.
Pedal creature with uncanny similarities to humanoid anatomy. They greatly resemble humans without skin, without an exaggerated...
Humans without skin. I don't know if you guys have seen what humans look like without skin and just like meat. It's not pretty. It's pretty creepy, but it's not pretty.
Features. These features include extended finger length, longer limbs, bulging, empty eyes, and their most prominent feature, a wide, pea-filled smile.
Mouth contains almost entirely incisors with a few something and something. But, yeah, that's, I don't like that at all. It's something like that with, like, bulgy eyes and a big-ass smile and no skin coming towards you. I'm shitting my pants. I better be wearing my brown pants for that.
Although it resembles a happy face, this is due to coincidence, and is only how their facial structure is shaped.
I hate it.
The more of the mimic contain
Canines and premadars. So, mostly these. A couple of these, and a little bit of these. Premolars. Okay, premolars. Gotcha. I can't read. It's really hard to read that.
contains much more teeth than humans, and their teeth is comprised almost entirely of incisors, with some canine and premolars in the back. This tooth composition is ideal for biting down onto meat and swallowing chunks whole. A mature mimic's diet is comprised entirely of human flesh.
No, you don't say. You don't fucking say. Gee, I wonder what the diet of most of these freaking things, these monstrosities are. Human flesh. Yeah. Gotta keep a close eye for flicky things.
Because of this, they are found.
Is there anything there? Oh, no. Okay.
Because of this, they are found solely around human-populated areas.
Of course.
The mimic's life cycle is made of 3 stages. In the first stage, a young mimic separates from the crawl. They closely resemble their trimming relatives, but are thin.
What? Oh, barf. Oh, barf, dude. Heaving. Heaving. That, it's so shiny and shit, too. Oh, it's like glistening. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Kill it with fire. These get progressively creepier and creepier the more, you, like, further down we go. This one, by far, is the creepiest. Good lord, I'm sure it's gonna get worse.
Sleek, and only have 4 appendages. In this stage,
They only have 4 appendages? Are you saying they have more? Please don't tell me they have more than that later on.
young mimic will hunt small animals, moving on to larger and larger as they grow. Once large enough, it will begin metamorphosis into the next stage of life. Once fully transformed, it will resemble the description mentioned in the beginning.
So, that's not even its final form. So, that's not even its final form, monkeys. I am extremely terrified to see what that final form is. Because I'm going to assume pictures of this one are creepy as hell. Also, YouTube things, like and share the stream. Thank you. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Probably won't, but we'll attempt it.
Its hunting style changes and becomes much more complex.
Ah, fuck, I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. Oh, I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Oh. Imagine that coming up around the corner. You're seeing that through a window. Brown pants and yellow pants needed. Immediately. Because that would... I would die of fright. I'd probably go into shock looking at this. Woof, that's... Ugh. I don't want it giving me a hug, Mike. I want it to be nuked with fire. Nuke it from orbit. It needs to die. It needs to go. I don't like it. I don't want it touching me. I don't want it anywhere near me.
Complicated. It now stalks and feeds only...
Mimic locked in a home after owner escaped. So they're not very smart, is what this is telling me. They're creepy. They're gross. But they're not smart. Hello, Blood Wolf. Welcome to the fun and the spoop. But, if they can get locked into a house and they can't get out, I'm assuming that they're not very bright. Which is kind of a good thing, and I'm assuming their final form is a lot smarter.
on humans. It will locate human
Oh, hold on. Interesting.
It will locate human populated area and begin its search for an easy target. To blend in, it may use objects to conceal itself. These include clothing, mannequins, and furniture.
So you're saying it's pulling a snake. It's some Metal Gear Solid kind of type of bullshit. Okay. I would definitely not like something with a mannequin, like, trying to be a mannequin jumping out at me. That is some freaking Criminal Origins stuff.
Once a target has been found, the mimic will observe its prey and learn its routine and when it is most vulnerable.
So it's
This
slightly
is typically
smart.
when the human is asleep.
It's slightly smart, but it's not smart enough to get out of a house when it's locked in there. I'm not sure I believe that. I don't know what to think about that. Also, this just reinforces, do not hang your limbs over the side of the bed. You never know what's under it.
Sleep at night. Once the prey is within position, the mimic will advance silently until it is close enough. The mimic will then execute and immediately begin consumption. Once the mimic has had its fill, it will leave the scene, a fair distance away from the human population, and begin to digest its meal.
That... Okay, this is probably the one that is the worst looking. Like, I can... You know that's photoshopped. The other ones, very creepy, very well put together. Well, wouldn't be able to tell. That, yeah, I could tell. Stationary mimic found outside of town, presumably digesting last night's meal. Spate of Artemis.
Although, in the case that a human is awake, a mimic will use a variety of sounds to either lure or startle prey into cornering themselves.
Fuck you for that video. I literally looked behind me because I thought my husband had probably woken up. Fuck you, video, for that. Fuck you for that. I hate when analog horror does this, where they have the knocking sound in one of your ears. Freaks me out.
Once a human is in place, it will swiftly attack and kill the helpless target.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait, we're getting video footage of it now? Fucking choice. Oh man, this is gonna be fucked up. And I'm gonna love every second of it. I'm shivering with anticipation. Run, Forrest! Jump scare warning. Jump scare warning. He's gonna see the light. It smells you. It can smell you. Oh. Oh. Oh no. What did I say? What did I say? Imagine those long, creepy little fingers coming from around a door frame. Am I psychic or what? And yes, it is just as creepy as I imagined. You're fucking dead. Oh. Oh, I didn't like that. Oh, let's get a look at that guy. Let's get a look at our dude here. Let's get a look at dude bro. Hi. Hello. Oh, that is... I don't like that at all. I remember when Wendigoon got fooled twice by the knocking sound. I get fooled every damn time. Every damn time. Because they place it so, like, perfectly to where you're, like, lulled into a sense of security and you're not thinking it's gonna happen. And then it does. And you're just like, oh. Oh. But, hi. Hello. Friendo. Super friendo. What was that? Okay, it's just nothing. Nothing of interest. I always gotta be sure.
The stage of the mimic's life cycle has two potential morphs it may develop into. If a mimic has a consistent...
So it's got a butterfly effect. It's not just... It's kind of like a Pokemon evolution. Like, it could go one of two ways. You could get a Silcoon, or you could get a Cascoon. You could get a Beautifly, or you could get a, Dustox. Me restart the creepy. Nope, not restarting. But welcome in, true assassin. We are looking at the spoop. The super spoop.
Distant supply of food, it will develop more human-like features. It will grow skin, hair, and by the end will look nearly identical to a human being. It now can blend entirely into civilization and lure other humans more effectively.
Ergo why it's called the mimic. Because if it gets far enough through the life cycle, it can mimic being a human being and won't have to worry about hiding and being careful when finding food. Okay, so what's the other option? What's the other option? Anybody got a guess? Anybody got a guess? I don't have any. I'm curious. I'm super fucking curious. Let's find out.
The second type of morph happens when a mimic receives an overabundance of food.
Oh no.
It will grow into a larger, more evolved hunter. Its proportions will increase in
Elder Mimic Anatomy. This is some, like, creepy video game .exe kind of shit. I don't like you. I don't like that you're smiling at me like that. Can you not? You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me kind of the puppet from Five Nights at Freddy's. Wee bit, just the face. Slightly. But I definitely don't like it.
length.
I don't like any of it.
Features will fade away.
Imagine that thing showing up in the middle of the night. You're in a dark room, you're getting ready to sleep, and then you open your eyes and you see that shit right next to your face. Misa no like.
Thick, dark coating
Provides protection and allows mobility.
flexible skin, which is highly durable and increases in strength the more the elder mimic
Yes, all the nope-elope, true assassin, absolute nope-eloping out of there.
consumes. This excludes the face.
And wants to say hello? Yeah, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that anywhere near me. Can we not? Can we just not?
In the pale pink skin. The mimic's teeth have also moved deeper into the mimic's throat.
Teeth line, back of the throat, used to pull meat down while also shredding it as it progresses downward. It's like a wood chipper, but for, like, humans.
Its mouth a toothless grin. It uses the dark hue of its skin to hide
I hate
seamlessly
that.
within a dark environment.
I hate that
Its
so much.
skills have also been heightened. This makes an elder mimic one of the most efficient predators on the planet.
Oh, great.
Because of the obvious threat this poses on humanity, nations around the world have released instructions on how to be able to fend for yourself in a mimic encounter. Here are the instructions.
1. Avoid going out alone if your location is known to have mimics.
I mean, how do you know that your location is known to have mimics? How do you know? I'm assuming if it's a densely populated area, you gotta assume that there are mimics there. I'm just gonna go with that train of thought, train of logic.
Or there have been mimic sightings. 2. If you encounter a stationary mimic, seemingly unfazed by your presence, quietly leave the location and alert your local authorities.
Okay.
3. If pursued by a mimic, get yourself into a position where you are able to flee. Mimics will rarely attack if a person has a clear escape route.
So if it knows you can get away and you're not 100% or close enough to that guarantee of being their food, you're more likely to not be attacked by them. That's interesting. That they wait for certainty to do what they gotta do.
4. In the event that you have been cornered by a mimic, roll into the fetal position, protecting your neck, face, and vital organs from attack. Make as much noise as you can to alert any other people.
Is this like some kind of quiet place situation? Because that's what it seems like. Make as much noise. Crawl into a fetal position. Interesting. I don't know what good that's gonna do, but what's your next step, guys?
5. If you have a weapon, do not use it. A mimic is fairly resilient, and any strikes or shots on a mimic is not effective enough to bring it down in time. Instead,
Great.
use it as a barrier between you and the mimic to block any attacks. 6. In a situation where a mimic is hunting in the immediate area and is not aware of your position, hide somewhere low, like under a bed or behind other furniture. A mimic will not linger too long to search for prey and will move on.
Again, it's telling you that basically if there's no certainty that you are prey, they will not come after you. I guess they probably won't want to expend any kind of energy on that. They'd rather just have the easy shit and then go chill out in the forest, I guess.
Be safe and avoid any encounters with a mimic at all costs. Next up, the Harvester.
Oh, hold on. Though the prince's sleep was long, he slept for what seemed like forever. As he slept, the land around him changed and grew. It was unrecognizable when the prince first arrived, but the sleep still needed time to heal the prince. Much more time, but it kept the prince safe while he rested, guarding him from elements as land changed. Huh. Oh, this person survived? Is that blood everywhere? No. It's recording them eating it. Oh, the crunch. Oh, the crunch sound. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Next. The Harvester. Congregator. Gathered together of the flesh. Interesting. Again, warning, warning, warning. Flashing lights. Yada yada. We know the drill. Viewer discretion is advised.
The Harvester.
Congregator Carnis.
The Harvester is a large, bulbous mass with a large amount of tendrils spreading from the base.
So it's a tentacle monster. It's the blob fused with the tentacle monster. Please do not Rule 34 any of this. Please and thank you. Mike, this is specifically to you. Don't rule... You probably already have, but don't Rule 34 this. Please, dear God, do not do that. You're fucking weird if you do. Mike's the only one that I wouldn't put it past. It's a meat egg. Yep. Yep, pretty much.
Base. The bulb measures around 3 meters in height and 2 meters in diameter.
That's a big one.
The tendrils, on the other hand, can extend up to...
See, Mike knows. There we go. Come on, OBS. Don't do this to me now. Thank you. Okay. Weird. OBS was dropping frames like crazy, and I don't know why.
Horizontally. The Harvester is a specialized...
Ugh. Okay, kind of like the other one, where he's out in the forest. This one, it doesn't blend in as well as the other pictures do. Probably because the other pictures have, like, a shadow to it. They're darker. And these just kind of stand out like a sore thumb. But still very creep. Still very no-likey. I wouldn't want to see this in the middle of a forest anywhere. I really wouldn't.
Form of Karl that grows in a unique and deadly way. A harvester is created when a node that will grow into a harvester, instead of separating, continues to grow. Eventually, it will grow tendrils of its own. It uses the energy provided by its mother branch and expands its reach further. Its tendrils, hidden just below the surface of the ground.
So it's basically a parasite. Once it gets big enough, it just takes over everything that the branch it had any kind of, like, power over. That's an interesting dichotomy. It's an interesting kind of, like, relationship. Where every once in a while, a harvester will just take over everything. Very parasitic.
The harvester is equipped with 2 types of...
Large tendrils equipped with 2 venoms, a neurotoxin, and an anticoagulant to effectively catch prey. Smaller tendrils are tough. Being used to dig through dirt and breaking apart tissue. Originally absorb nutrients.
Of specialized tendrils. The first type is bulky and flat. They lie the closest...
Oh, I don't... If I was walking around and I saw that through a hole, my ass is running the other way. I'm getting the fuck away from that as quickly as I possibly can. Because nope, nope-a-lope, nope-a-lope, and a nope-nope. Nope, 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 nope.
To the surface. These branches are lined on each length of the tendril with spines, extending in the shape of a bear trap. On each side of the branch, Those particular spines have a vein that feed into them, that pump two types of venom. On one side, the spines can inject a neurotoxin, which will attack the nervous system of whomever it is injected into, causing sudden paralysis. The other side can inject an anticoagulant, which when injected, prevents blood cells from clotting. Whenever a large animal moves across the area armed with these tendrils, the branches will clamp onto the animal and thrash violently. Once the prey has been injected with both venoms, the tendrils will rest and the prey will immediately collapse. The animal will be unable to move due to the paralysis.
Yeah, it basically paralyzes you and then fucks with your blood flow. So that it probably is easier to consume you. That's the worst kind of bear trap, bro. You can't get saved from that. You deader than dead. Yikes.
And the wounds caused by the thrashing spines will not stop bleeding. All the prey can do is lie patiently until
Okay, so it's even worse than that. It neutralizes you, and then it uses the anticoagulant so you can't heal the wound. You just continue to bleed out until you're done. That's really bad. Ooh. I wouldn't want that in my life. I wouldn't want that kind of fate. I wouldn't wish that on most people either. Yeesh.
Coming to blood loss. Once the prey has bled out, the second type of tendrils come in. They lie below the spine equipped once. These branches are thin, but very sturdy. They share similar anatomy to the small branches of the crawl, equipped with organelle that absorbs nutrients. These tendrils sense the blood and move their way to the surface and begin to absorb the vital fluid. Once the blood has been consumed, the tendrils will wrap around the body and begin to shuffle downwards. This movement loosens the soil and slowly pull the body underground. Once secure, the tendrils will continue to feed until there is nothing but scraps. The nourishment absorbed by the tendrils will be sucked back into the main bulb of the harvester.
And make it bigger.
This bulb houses all the vital...
Eee. Again, sticks out like a sore thumb, but still it's gross. Huh. I'm gonna assume that the bigger they are, the more living things they've consumed. I'm gonna assume that, because I don't think that there's anything else that could be plausible.
Organs and the venom glands that pump into the spines. The nutrients are then converted into usable energy. The remains underground decompose, providing a rich soil, causing very prominent plant growth, which then attracts more animals.
It's a cycle.
A strange behavior the harvester
Hold on. Something there? See? No? No? Okay. But it's like a vicious cycle. Everything that is captured is reutilized. It's recycled. And then brings more stuff. Smart.
A strange behavior the harvester displays as its choice of diet. The spines will only activate on larger animals, allowing smaller ones to pass by unaffected. The spines will also not activate on some species of bird. There are a couple theories as to why this happens. One, it could be that attacking smaller animals would cost too much energy for what they get in return, making it not worth the time. Another could be that smaller animals may attract larger animals or predators, allowing a safe place where prey may thrive and lure more predators. It truly is astonishing.
It's probably a bit of both if you think about it. It's one that going after small animals would use too much energy that they wouldn't be able to recoup through that animal being consumed. But it also, like the plants, allows for another way or manner for larger animals to show up so they can get the nutrients they need without expending too much energy. Evolution at its finest. Even though we don't want these things evolving. Too late, they already have.
Although it is a spectacular creature, it is also very dangerous.
Of course.
The harvester is decently rare, only populating sparse areas in the northern hemisphere and woodland forests.
So this is the opposite of the mimic and most of the other creatures. It likes seclusion. It doesn't go for highly or densely populated areas with humans in it. It seems like its diet is predominantly woodland creatures, that says that they get everything. If you have a pulse, if you're breathing, you're dead. You're dead, son. There's nowhere you can hide. They're gonna be there regardless.
If you are stunned by a harvester, there will be no way of helping you, being that there is no cure, and fatality is 100% possible.
If you get bit, you're fucked, son. Deuces, you dead. Oh. Family attacked by harvester. Authorities refuse to handle the harvester. Well, yeah, because they're screwed.
The best thing you can do is avoid encountering a harvester in the first place. If you are hiking, take note of any warnings or signs saying that there are harvesters around. If you also notice an abundance of lush, ground-dwelling plants in a forested area, and there are no signs of wildlife, this is suspicious and you should leave the area, staying close to the base.
I mean, yeah, if you're in a densely wooded or plant-heavy area and there's no life around, that's extremely sus. And if you're not sus about that, you might need to get your head checked out. You probably could also see it from a distance, too. Then again, the tendrils go a long way, so you don't have the distance advantage at all. Eesh.
Of large trees or rocks. If you find yourself in the middle of a harvester ground, do not panic. Sudden movements may activate.
Fuck you, I'm panicking. I will panic. I will see those little spiny tendrils poking out of the ground. I will freak out. I will soil my brown pants. And I'm probably going to be dead. You can't say that you have a 100% fatality rate and then expect people to not freak out when they see this kind of thing out in the wild. That's dumb. That is a really dumb thing to say. You don't understand humans if you're going to say something like that. Not at all.
The tendrils and will inject you. Although a harvester is rather forgiving, do not risk any skittish movements. Remain calm. If you have any objects with considerable heft, like coats, backpacks, or full water bottles, gently take that object and lightly toss it towards the bulb and away from your escape route. This will activate the spines on where the object lands, distracting the bulb for a moment. You will then slowly begin to do wide shuffles away from the bulb.
So, throw your belongings at it and do a crab walk away. Okay.
If possible, throw another object when you are certain you are a fair enough distance away, just to be safe. Continue until you are completely sure you are out of harm's way. You may come out unscathed, but don't be too obnoxious, or you will be a harvester's next meal. Next up is the host.
The host. Oh, back that ass up. Back that ass up. Outside the cave during a time of hardship, something critters. The critters were struggling, something. There was barely any food to go around. They would go and gather whatever, probably whatever they could find. That's... I don't like the look of that. That's ominous. Okay. We got two more. This one is the host of influence. And then I will translate what the Latin name is.
The host
Imperium Carnis. Dominion of the flesh. Host. It's called the host, so it makes sense. Okay.
of influence. The host of influence, more commonly referred to as the host, has its name derived from a host who invites guests to an event.
Obviously.
Not to be confused with a host, a harborer of parasites or disease.
Okay, thanks for distinguishing that for us. It's probably the least creepy looking thing or creature so far. It doesn't scare me outright, but I'm assuming the pictures of it will definitely change that. Let's see.
The host is a semi-humanoid looking organism. It has the structure of a head, torso, and arms. Other than this, it shares no other characteristics.
Okay.
The lower half of the host is comprised of a mass of fibrous tissue and tendrils that burrow into the ground to hold the host in place. Instead of skin, the host is covered in muscular tissue.
Okay, that is kind of creepy looking. It's not the creepiest looking thing, but it is kind of creepy. I wouldn't want to run into something like that.
Fibers, tendons, and veins. In some parts of the body are covered in a meaty plate, used to cover any large exposed areas, but allowing movement. The host's head has a smooth surface where the face should be, attached to a crooked neck, which houses a slit in the front used for feeding.
Okay, so it looks... My neck look like a vagina. I'm sorry, I had to. I'm sorry, I had to. I'm not sorry. And I still had to. I'm not sorry at all. Funny as hell. But that's... I'm curious as to how they move their head in order to consume.
On the host's back is a mound of pores. Protruding from these pores are hollow, hair-like structures, extending outwards. These hairs are barrels that release spores produced within host's body by being fired into the air. These spores are hazardous, so keep clear of them at all costs.
Oh, back it up. Ooh, I don't like that. That's not a fun picture. I will be back in a second. I need to use the bathroom, so I will play some music and I'll be right back. I've returned. Okay. Sorry about that. My body has decided it's finally time to wake up. Gotta love it. Alright, let's get to this. Ooh. What was that? Something waving its hands outside of a window? Interesting. Wonder what it means.
The host is rare, only found in North America. Obtained.
I think that's the first one that is so condensed into one area. All the other ones can be found pretty much worldwide, but this one is specifically in America. I'm curious as to why that is. I hope they explain that, because it's very different from the rest of the beings that we've seen. The meat beings.
Gaining info about the host is a very risky and daunting task.
Oh, I'm
This
sure.
is because of their rarity and of how dangerous it is to be up close to one.
Yeah, you're probably fucking dead.
The source released by a host is very dangerous when inhaled. A host will release a cloud of spores into the air, which will be picked up by wind and carried great distances. If an organism inhales the spores, the particles will find their way into the organism's brain and infect them.
Ooh.
An infected organism will show no symptoms of infection right away, but a couple hours after infection the infected organism's behavior and thought process will change. The first symptoms that
So it makes you a fucking zombie. Okay, Parasite. Paris. Okay, I see you. I fucking see you. That's, not a fun thing to conceptualize or think about. You can be quite a distance away from this thing, and all it has to do is just into the air. And, like, you're screwed. It's 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 months later. You're screwed.
appear are restlessness, sluggish movement, numbness of joints, and lack of coordination.
Yeah, zombie.
Then more serious symptoms appear over time. These include dizziness, migraines, impaired speech, and trembles.
Zombie.
You or someone you know show these symptoms, contact poison control or emergency services. After a total of 6 to 7 hours after infection, the organism will cease all activities they were previously doing and begin to walk.
Yeah, zombies.
Direction the infect-
So, it's definitely zombies. It'll make you it'll infect you, and within a matter of 6 to 7 hours, you are no longer you, and you are dragged to the host. To do what, we'll have to find out. But it's definitely very Day of the Dead, 28 days later stuff, which is very interesting. We still haven't been told why exactly it's just in North America. So that still hasn't been exactly explained.
It will walk is towards the host whose spores have been inhaled by the infected individual.
And I'm assuming that's how they eat.
If the infected makes their way to the host, they will kneel down in front of it, expose their vital organs.
Okay, so what I really like about how this is put together is while it's telling you what you're going to do, it's putting in little clips of somebody that's experiencing it, I'm assuming. That's very good composition. You're enforcing what you're telling us by showing us it happening. That's why I like the photos that they have throughout all these videos, is you get the visual representation with the descriptions. It's not just, this is the thing, you're just going to have to imagine what said thing looks like. You have everything visualized for you. And the only thing you're going to imagine is what it's going to do to you. That's creepy peepee.
And the host will promptly gut and remove those organs. The host will consume them and discard the leftover scraps. However, if an infected organism doesn't reach the host within a 36-hour span or is treated for their infection, the effects will wear off and return back to normal. If a host is unable to find prey or doesn't like its current location, it will unroot itself and move to a new location.
I do have the munchies. I've got M&Ms next to me. My tolerance for gross stuff is like very high. It takes a lot, and it takes very specific things to really gross me out. This doesn't gross me out. It's just creepy. Sorry, I've got my sugar fix next to me, and I couldn't help it. But thinking about it, you can infect somebody that's more than 38 hours of, like, walking away. That's a day and a half. So, say you can do, like, somewhere between 6 to 10 miles an hour. And I'm going to assume that you don't stop. So if you're peak performance, 6 times 36. You're going 216 miles. That's 216 miles away you can get infected. That also does take into account that you can get infected and it takes 6 to 7 hours for everything to start to happen. So you could get a significant distance away. Huh. Something to think about. Kind of like maneuvering what could be and what is, and using your imagination can make things a lot worse than they sound. Enlightening. I like it.
Their scarce numbers and the hazard of being around one makes getting info about the host very...
Both anonymouses are fucking dead. You cannot tell me they're dead. They got spored. They're dead. It's over. They're not around anymore.
Very daunting. All you need to currently know is that the host is extremely dangerous.
No shit.
Be avoided at all costs.
Okay, you don't have to tell me twice.
Next, the monoliths.
It's the last one we're gonna go over today. It's the monolith. What was that? Is there anything there? No. Oh, there it is. There it is. Although one day the critters found... Pause before I finish that. Notice that the first picture that we see of this there's been 3 of these so far. The first one was very, very blurry. You couldn't really tell what was going on. The second one was a little less blurry. This one is perfectly clear. I want to point that out. But it says, although one day the critters found the cave while searching for food. They found the prince in a trance in his healing sleep. The critters were so awestruck and enchanted by the prince's magic. I wonder who I'm curious what this metaphor is referring to. I'm assuming we won't know until we finish all the documentary stuff, but it's still an interesting premise to put a children's story of sorts in with this kind of creepy shit. I like it a lot. A lot. Alright. We've got one more. Viewer discretion is advised.
The monoliths.
Monolith. Vita Carnis. The heaven of flesh. Deus Dominus. It does look very angelic. At least biblically accurate angelic.
The monolith is a very new creature, only showing up in June of 1972. In the
Really?
area of...
You're not going to tell me where it came from? Really? You're going to tell me where everything else came from, but you're going to hide this one location. Got it. Eye roll of the century. Big fucking eye roll.
There are only 7 monoliths, all of them located in a circular position, 1.5 kilometers in diameter.
Weird. So there are one location. There are 7 of them in total. And they're all in a circular positioning. Why? Are you going to tell us why? I hope so, because I'm completely lost.
This ring of monoliths surrounds...
It surrounds a location that you're not going to tell us. Thanks.
Monolith is a Titanic-sized being.
Oh, yeah, it's a monolith. Monoliths are usually pretty big. That's what the word implies. The name implies. But it's only appeared in the 70s, and I'm gonna... Assuming that we are current day in this. 2024, it's only been around for like 50 years. 54 years? Almost 55. Interesting. I wonder why it came about and how it came about. They probably won't tell us, but they're questions to put in the back of your mind.
Measuring roughly 120 meters in height.
Well, hello, you big
Each
bastard.
monolith has 2...
I hate it. I hate it so much. That is a big motherfucker. That is a big motherfucker. Look how big those freaking legs are. And there's 7 of them in one spot. Imagine seeing that from miles away. You can probably see that shit from space, dude. They big as hell.
trunk legs that are firmly embedded underground. The legs connect to a torso. The creature itself is made of hundreds of thousands of meaty strands, tightly woven together.
Yeah, hundred thousands of meaty strands. Meaty, meaty, meatness. Meat. Where's the beef? That's a big motherfucker. Those are not tree trunks. Those are bigger than tree trunks. Those are like buildings. Jeebus.
Together to form the structure. These strands end at the neck.
Stratum on the top of the body is capable of releasing large bellows of noise, and in one ruse, an EMP pulse that can disable electronics. Oh, that's fun. It's not only massive, it's just loud as hell.
Fusing into a solid mass of hardened flesh in the shape of an upside-down triangle, with a hole in its center. On each side of the monolith...
Arm tendrils will sway and strike at any threats or any large objects passing the parameter. So, say if plane is flying past it, it's gonna smack that shit right out of the sky. It's like the Bermuda Triangle of, like, the meat. The Vita Carnis world.
Arms would be. There are dozens of long, rope-like appendages. These reach just barely to the ground. At the creature's feet, the strands go deep into the earth and extend horizontally a decent distance away.
Of course they do.
What the monoliths do is simply stand and do nothing. The only activity documented that the monoliths have done was in...
And of course you're not going to tell us. Eye roll.
During this period, they were extremely aggressive. When the group of...
Eye roll again. I find it fascinating that this is the only one that has censorship on very specific bits of information. Everything else is completely out there. The only time you see a censor is when there's blood. Okay, which fair enough. So these guys must be extremely important. We don't know why, but they are. It's very obvious.
Making their way to the city. The monolith that they had passes roared a deep bellow and swung its appendages at the team, completely wiping them out. When military vehicles were dispatched, once they got close enough top the monolith, it roared another call, this time releasing an EMP blast, completely knocking the vehicles out in the vicinity.
Oh no.
Finally, long-distance rockets were fired and struck the creature.
And it didn't do anything, I'm sure. But think of this. Think of it like this. Imagine a fucking army with tanks and all showing up to attack these things and them all just getting obliterated. And this is, I'm going to assume it's in the US or it's a first world country. And if you think of it that way, they have very good military weaponry. They're very high tech. And you're just going to get fucked. That has to be fucking scary. I guess that's what it sounds like. Oh. Oh. What did that say? What did that say? So is that photograph again?
Although damaged, it regenerated at great speed and resumed its...
So even after you send a fucking army unit in there and they do some damage from a long distance, that gets healed almost immediately. You can't do shit to it. You can't do shit to this thing. You are powerless. Ooh. As a veteran, that just sends chills down my spine. Literal chills. I've got like goosebumps on my arms right now. Oof. Oof.
Its stance unscathed. Eventually, the area has been fenced off and is now restricted to all.
That's
Ever
why.
since, the monolith stands silently. Now only a grand spectacle of awe and mystery, only adding more questions to these meat beings.
Is this Area 51? I wouldn't be shocked if it's Area 51. That would be hilarious. Imagine Naruto running towards this as a group. Hilarious. Hysterical.
And finally, the last creature on this list is...
There's the thing there. I don't... It looks like North and South America, but why? Oh, back it up. What is this creature? Grow food. Sickness. They continued to argue about the prince and his magic. Something of the something that the prince was dangerous and should not be meddled with.
Marvelous and majestic world that exists today. It's as extraordinary to have such strange and mysterious beings appear all around us. Thank you.
Strange and mysterious? That's all you... Strange and mysterious? Absolutely freakish is what you should be saying. Freakish.
For joining us on this journey of exploration and discovery of the lives of these living meat creatures.
Shaking my head. Thanks for watching. More to come. So I'm assuming this was like part of the beginning of the season. Next time there's like a 32, it's almost 33 minutes long. That's going to be the entirety of the next stream. And then there's a bunch of like smaller ones that we can go through. And what I'm understanding is that the second Vita Carnis season is supposed to be coming out very soon, which I love that for me. Love that for me. Love that for us. But until then, I will see you in the next one. Again, next weekend is a little bit different. It's the Nox stream, and we're going to have somebody else on as well. It's going to be something different. It's going to be fun. And I hope you guys like it. See you next time. Sweet nightmares.
Bite me one time. Bite me twice. Oh, ah, that's rather nice. Frankenstein, freaks and grudge. Scream out loud, you're out of luck. Crime so beastly, can't get enough. Ooh, it's all psychotic love. I start to turn when all the streets are moving. I suck 'em dry and rip off all the skin bits. 'Cause freaky horror films, I'll always be a fan. From Nosferatu right up to Train to Busan. And what a beautiful werewolf queen we have inside it. To slice a path of hell with a foul death beside it. Spooky sounds, blood and brains, hunted down by the insane. Crime so beastly, can't get enough. Ooh, it's all psychotic love.